I hate you more. I hate you more. I hate you more.
What's up, riders? Old Man Ronin here. Welcome back to the channel. You know, why is there so much hate for the Royal Enfield Himalayan? I think I know the answer. Stay tuned.
Well, it's a lot warmer day today than it was yesterday. Yeah, it's going to hit like 55 degrees, which is outstanding in, what do we got here now, near mid-December? Yeah, I'm not complaining. We had some pretty cold days earlier, but you know what? Hey, I'm still out here and I'm still riding, baby. And that's what's the most important thing to me is being able to still ride. And so I'm going to take every opportunity. But today's opportunity is to talk about all the hate that's getting on the Himalayan. And for what reason? Well, I think I know a couple of the reasons. And we're going to start with the beginning. You know, every motorcycle manufacturer, every manufacturer period, has some lean years and some problem years. I mean, of course, I'm a Harley guy, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is the AMF days for Harley Davidson. And I'll tell you what, they turned out some crap during those years. And so I'm not overly surprised that people think, well, the Royal Enfield is crap, because you know, Royal Enfield had some lean years as well too. All companies have lean years. So the perception right away, and I think that's the number one thing, is the perception that Royal Enfield makes cheap products. No, they do not. They make inexpensive products. Cheap to me means very poorly built, cheap, substandard parts, and the fit and finish not very well. These bikes are not that. These bikes are really well built. The Himalayan, the new Interceptors that I've seen, the new Continental. I haven't had my chance to look at the new Meteor, but they all look like they got great fit and finish, and they're using quality parts. And you know, Royal Enfield's standing behind the products with the 2-year warranty. And you know, there's a lot of ADV bikes that aren't doing that. There are some that are, but you're going to pay a lot more money for that. And I think the perception is probably the number one thing that people who hate Royal Enfield and Royal Enfield Himalayan is about. They think it's perceived to be cheapo. I mean, you got a bike that's $5,000. How good could that be? I'll tell you what, I had a Triumph that I bought. It was a 2015. I bought, it wasn't new, it was new old stock. And I had more issues with that motorcycle than any motorcycle I have ever owned in my life. Now, am I blaming Triumph for that? Not at all. It just happened to be not a good Triumph. But and that's why I really don't talk about it too much, because it's not fair to Triumph to complain, you know, blame one bike out of their mass production that there was something wrong with it. But and I want another Triumph. I would love to find another used Triumph, maybe even the same model. But right now I'm completely satisfied with my Royal Enfield Himalayan, and that's because I think my perception of the value is way up there. I mean, again, this is my very first Royal Enfield, and you know, it's hard to make a good first impression last. If I had bad luck with this, maybe I would think that Royal Enfields are not that good a motorcycle. But I'm having tremendous success, and this is a used motorcycle. It's not a brand new one. It's still carrying a 2-year warranty on it, because it was I bought it within 2 years of when it was first titled. But the reality of it is that, man, it's a great motorcycle. I think another reason why people hate the Himalayan is because they sense it's underpowered. You know, I hate the term using it's only 24 horsepower. I don't give a rat's butt about how many horsepower it makes. It enables me to go 60 to 65 miles an hour with virtually no issue whatsoever, and it has very good low-end torque. When I'm riding on these back roads like this, I'm not doing 60, 65 miles an hour. I'm doing, what, 40? 45 max. That's all these roads are built for. You go over that kind of speed, you're taking your life and other people's lives in your hands. So the realization is this bike is built for that. Now, if you want to go 1,000,000 miles an hour on the highway, you want to run the Autobahn, not the bike for you, like we've mentioned before. But then again, what are you doing on an adventure bike when it travel that fast? There is no reason an adventure bike should be rated for 150 miles an hour. No, none whatsoever. Unless you're never going to take it off the road. If you're never going to take it off the road, you're an idiot for buying an adventure bike. Because there's a lot better cruisers out there that are far more comfortable and can take you on long distance high speed roads a lot better. I'll tell you what, my Road King, I mentioned this before, it is literally like a lounge chair riding down the highway at 70-80 miles an hour. Just sit back and relax, baby. I got the windshield on or off, it doesn't matter. I like to ride mostly with the windshield off. I'm not a windshield kind of guy for a lot of reasons. I just have never really used them. In fact, I had a couple Harley Davidson Heritage Softails that, brand new, they come with a windshield on, that the minute I got it home, I took the windshield off, and until the day I sold it, I never put it back on. It's just because I never used windshields. I like to feel the wind on me, whether I'm wearing a helmet with a full face or not. I just like that. That's been me. So for me, I hear guys complain about, oh, this windshield in Himalayan's not tall enough. It gives me head buffeting. What are you, 3? It is a motorcycle that's built for off-road use. Head buffeting in the wind? Oh, man. Take the windshield off then. I get a kick out of people. Maybe it's just me, and I don't want to sound like I'm a rear end of this video, but come on, guys. This is not meant to go down the highway at 90 miles an hour, and if you can't take wind buffeting at 45 to 55 miles an hour, maybe you should stick to cars. But I think that's another thing that people complain about. I mean, everybody wants to complain about everything. Oh, it needs to have more horsepower. It needs to have higher speed so I can use it. It doesn't have enough engine for me. Again, maybe a adventure bike is not really the bike that you should be riding. Because for me, and again, I'm very much blessed. I have a motorcycle. I have basically a stable of motorcycles that, I bought and rebuilt and then kept, sold some, kept most. That if I want to go on these long distance trips on the highway, like with the Road King, I'll jump on the Road King. Would I take this bike here on a trip out to Sturgis all on the highway? No. No. Would I take this bike on a road trip out to Sturgis on back roads? Every day. There's a YouTuber out there who has a huge following, hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And one of the people on my page commented and said, "Did you ever hear this? Did you see this?" He's calling the Himalayan a steaming pile of beep. And I said, "Yeah, I watched the video." And the thing that was stuck out the most was the fact that he never even rode the bike. He was just judging the motorcycle based upon the amount of horsepower there was on the paper. In other words, he was reading information and saying, well, it can't be any good because it doesn't have this certain number. It can't be any good because it doesn't have this certain number. It can't be any good because, well, compared to this bike, it doesn't have this. Well, it's not all about the numbers, baby. It's about how the bike makes you feel. It's about how it performs with you on it. And for you to badmouth something without ever riding it shows me that you really don't know what you're talking about in any situation. Personally, I wouldn't trust the guy in any kind of review, which is why I really don't do reviews until I have at least 1,000 minimum miles on the seat. Now, after I do that, I'll tell you what I really think about it. In fact, I teased it a little bit before that we're going to be doing a 1,000-mile review on this bike here in the near future. I just need to get my ducks in an order and figure out exactly how I want to say the things I want to say. But the reality of it is, you cannot do a review on a motorcycle that you've never been on, just based upon what either other people say or based upon what you've read in a piece of paper. Yes, this motorcycle has 24 horsepower, a little bit more. But you know what? The low end torque, like right now, I'm doing 3,000 RPM and I am just barely cracked the throttle and I was able to climb up that hill without any issue whatsoever. To me, that's where the important part of the engine lies in. Its ability to climb in low RPM at low speed to get me up in situations like this gravel road here, to get me in situations and out of situations that I need to be in or out of. That's what's important. I think another reason people hate Royal Enfield, and maybe hate's too strong, but don't like Royal Enfield Himalayan, is the not the perception of it, but the fact that it is very inexpensive to own. I heard somebody say on my YouTube channel in the comment section that, well, up in I think it's northwestern United States, that the Himalayans right now are going for $6,300 as opposed to $5,000. And you know what? There's a reason for that. These things are impossible to get. I mean, again, this is a 2018. It's not a 2020 or 2021. It's a 2018. And I mean, I jumped at the chance to get the bike. It just happened to fall in my lap at exactly the right time and at the right exact price. But the reality of it is, I mean, we have a dealer here outside of Columbus, Ohio, or in Columbus, Ohio. I live outside of it quite a ways. That's my nearest dealer, Royal Enfield of Columbus. Great people there. If you get a chance, you're in Central Ohio, and you get a chance, you want to test ride a Royal Enfield Himalayan, go talk to Dylan or his sister Nicole, and set up a test ride for them. They're fantastic people there. Again, I have no ties with them other than just saying hello and getting my first 300-mile service with them. So that's the only ties I have. But they are nice people, and I'm going to tell you to go to places that I like. If you have a Harley, go to AD Farrow or Fink's Harley Davidson in the Columbus or Zanesville area. Those guys are great as well. But to get back to the Himalayan and this drop-off hill we got right here, don't you just love that? The perception of it, or not the perception, but the thought that the bike is only, you know, $5,000 to $6,000 because it's hard to get, when you compare it to like the KTM or the BMW or the Hondas, or insert your favorite brand here, it could be thousands of dollars less. You have to understand that this bike is built for, you know, it's truly a dual-purpose motorcycle. It's not a motorcycle that's built to be flying down the highway or being a, I wouldn't even say, yeah, it's kind of a city bike as well too, but it's more of a bike that's built to take it off-road. I mean, that's why it's got the highest ground clearance in its class, and it's also got that really low-end torque for true off-road capability, which a lot of motorcycles don't have. Gotta raise my visor there a little bit. Got a little bit of fog buildup, and you really have to see when you're doing a gravel and dirt road. Let's get down to the end here, get me fogged up, and then we'll talk some more. But the perception of the bike being low cost has a connotation that, well, it's cheaply made, and that is as far from the truth as what I've personally witnessed. I mean, and I've taken this thing, like I say, you see me on a gravel road right here, and I do a lot of gravel roads when I'm filming or not filming, but I also do a lot of deer trails on some property that I have permission to go on in East Central Ohio here as well. And that kind of experience tells me that it is, without a doubt, one of the finest motorcycles, handling wise and built wise, that I've ever had. And yes, it's inexpensive. They did some grading there apparently. You know, it's really cool out in this part of Ohio. We got these little country churches, which are just I think it's beautiful. I love the architecture of it. Again, we were at 2,000 RPM in third gear. Just crack the throttle, she climbs right up the hill. Yeah, that's what's important, that low-end torque. Well, the cost factor, being it cheaper than almost every other motorcycle out there for what you get, is I think another reason why people hate the bike. Well, how can it be any good? Of course, you're going to have the guys who are die-hard BMW owners, die-hard Honda guys, die-hard Harley guys. I mean, insert your favorite brand, you're going to have brand loyalty there no matter what it is. And you're going to have those guys that hate Royal Enfield because they love their favorite bike, and that's cool. There's not a thing wrong with that prospect, but just don't hate another bike. I mean, I've had bad luck, like I mentioned earlier, with Triumph. Doesn't mean I hate Triumph. That's ridiculous. I've had bad luck with Harley Davidson, and I love Harley Davidsons. Doesn't mean that because I had some issues at one time or another, especially the AMF years, that I'm going to throw away the whole brand based on that. That just doesn't make any sense. Same thing is true with Honda. The only time I've ever went down, not in an accident, but the only time I've ever went down in the middle of a corner has been on Hondas, where the front brake calipers locked up on me at slow speed. Boom! Head over handlebars in the middle of a corner. Twice that's happened to me in my life. Do I blame Honda for that? No. That's just part of life. No matter what, sometimes parts wear out, no matter if you're bleeding the brakes or not, no matter if you're rebuilding the cylinders or not, and you keep good maintenance on it, sometimes stuff just happens. Does that mean I hate Honda? Not at all. I'm going to rip on Honda a little bit just because it's fun, because it's a major brand and not a lot of people do that, and I get that. But as far as me hating the motorcycle for that or the brand for that, no, that doesn't make any sense to me. But so far we've talked about the perception of the fact that that maybe past that it wasn't the best quality, the Royal Enfield, but I would imagine since 2000, and in particular since 2018, the quality of the motorcycle brand has gone way up. And here's a great test. We were there at 2,000 RPM. We've got a pretty steep hill here. I just cracked the throttle and she walked its way up just like any other long stroke, low torque powered engine would do. And again, that's where the beauty of the Himalayan lies. If you were on another brand of motorcycle or another motorcycle that had a high revving engine, you would have had to downshift to create that hill because there's no low end torque at that area. And again, that's one of the pluses of this motorcycle that I find so appealing, because it is like my Harley Davidson. It does have that low end torque, and that should be a thing that you love. Again, just because it has low horsepower, 24 horsepower, really horsepower means speed, and torque means ability to use it in from idle up. And if you look at it that way, this is one of the best motorcycles ever built. That's why I'm begging Royal Enfield not, and I repeat, not to go to the 650 engine in this. They probably will, because I'm seeing so much stuff on it. But I'll tell you what, I would much rather see them do a 500. If they're going to increase the engine at all, I'd like to keep it stay where it's at. But if they're going to increase the engine at all, make it a 500, keep it a single, keep it air cooled. Water cooled usually means more issues, in my humble opinion. There's more things that can possibly go wrong, and that's why I would much rather have an air cooled engine for this kind of stuff too. And it's one I really don't want to have a big displacement either, because the more displacement, the more heat, the more chances are of things going wrong. Well, I'm going to wait till I get out of this sun, so we'll talk to you in a second. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did, make sure you give us a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification button, share and comment. You know, I read all the comments and comment as many comments as I possibly can. Until next time, ride safe by riding smart and keep her on two wheels, baby.